And now, Elizabeth, you would not send a ship halfway across the world on a speculation?
If it pleased me, I would.
On a whim?
If the whim was strong enough.
And well paid enough.
Oh, no. I've more taste than James, and not in the least interested in tying up to tree stumps in fever ports.
The Fever Coast. So the Charlotte Rolls has gone for guano. Where did James find out about the source of the guano?
How should I know that?
Well, if he's after guano, he must have got the source from the master of the Samantha, and to do that, he must have been on board. Sailors out, fever home, and a quick profit from the same port.
You'd better be careful in your conclusions.
Why is that?
In all your dealings with me, you've had my feelings to contend with. Unfortunately, James is free of any concern for you.
Well, hardly. I understand we're to be dining soon.
Dining?
Yes, at your father-in-law's. You see, I'm appointed Mr. Fraser's independent assessor, assigned to the deaths of Liverpool seamen.
Never let her have her head. I'll go for it. Stand up for it now.
Aye, aye, sir.
Would you like me to say a few words, like? I don't know if I can remember. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Never you mind. You need a top hold and an anchor shackle. Now get for it. You would whistle.
Yellow fever. I can't understand what all the hubbub's about. The Cuba sweats, we used to call them. I'd many a spell myself. Nothing that a good stiff tot can't cure. Whose is that rag?
It belongs to Mr. Baines's sister. Their water supply's been diverted and she's got 2 children.
Wellington Street, always fever in Wellington Street. Always was, always will be. They live like pigs down there, some of them pigs. What do you want to go down there for, I can't imagine. And I don't know what you look like.
I don't know what I feel like either.
Well, there you are then. In my day, women knew how to keep their men dangling. You had a double bed? No. Well, I suppose it's not your fault. You're such a plain Jane. Get any sense out of him when you saw him?
No.
Well, there you are, then. Now, since you left him, that's the legalities against you. What's the matter?
I'm just tired.
Well, go back to him and make your peace.
No!
When will you realize that a woman can't stand on her own feet in this world? She needs a man.
I'm just tired. That's all. Tired and hot.
Well, if you will spend your days down Wellington Street...
I just don't seem to have any strength.
I've got half a guinea. If you'd like to try the apothecary.
I find Daniel so masterful. And that air of the sea captain. Brass-bound, I think they call it. And other times, though, I find him quite moody. He was an orphan. Orphan from the board schools. The scrubbed boy from the cadetship. Oh, of course. You were bespoke. Well, Daniel's so reluctant to talk of the past. Oh, it was a simple change of heart on my part. I met Albert and, well, that was that. Well, your husband I find most engaging. Why was Daniel not at dinner? Errands, I dare say. Your father-in-law is merchant, politician and commodore rolled into one. But tell me more about Daniel. Did you find him unduly affectionate?
Ah, there you are, my boy. Did you have to roll? I came as quick as I could, sir.
You've missed your victuals, I'm afraid. Would you care for a glass of port?
Thank you, sir. How's the Garno trade progressing, Onedin?
All trade progresses from efficient handling.
Curious how you should come across such a distant cargo.
One has been carried before.
Indeed. On the Samantha.
And that ship and any other fortunate enough to find the train.
How did you find out about the source of the Samantha's cargo?
Seems cross-examination is in the air.
I should like an answer to that question. I've been made responsible to the people of Liverpool in this matter, and I must have an answer. How did you discover the source of the Samantha's cargo?
From the ship's pantry, man. Oh, and before you should accuse me, I've nothing to hide. The Samantha's owner approached me to ship a crew aboard her. She was in a sore plight.
A sore plight?
Aye. She'd had a bad voyage. Half her crew deserted.
Deserted?
Well, it's not unknown. She'd been in a tidal wave through terrible seas.
And what about the rest of her crew?
Died of fever.
You state that openly.
I state what I was told. Died of fever in passage. A master brought her home to Cork.
And you took out a crew to the Samantha?
Aye, in exchange for the profits of a quarter of the cargo.
A hard bargain.
Well, her owner suggested a quarter. I wanted a third.
I want to talk about yellow fever, Onedin.
When I went on board, there was no fever.
No fever?
None. She'd been 120 days in passage. Even so, I took precautions. Had the forecastle lined and cleared. I even stayed myself, just to make sure that everything was in order.
Are you saying, do you dare to say the Samantha did not bring fever here?
Nobody can deny that. But at the time, I took every precaution I could to safeguard the crew that I put aboard. And even that wasn't my responsibility, but the master's.
You're too glib, Onedin.
I resent that.
Why did you not step forward and state your part openly? Then, whatever odium fell upon you, you'd have had the support of the mercantile interests, who well understand the risks involved. It's your silence that's criminal, man. You're too fly for far.
Father, you're wrong. He was silent because of me.
You?
For purposes of gain, I was made partner and had a share of the Samantha's cargo.
You were partners?
There was a chance of a handsome profit. We took it and made it, James and I.
We cannot build our steamship on promises. We need cash.
But the fever. And I'd not thought of your good name. Two of you involved. If this came out, what reputation would the Fraser shipyards carry in this port?
Exactly, Mr. Fraser. Now, perhaps you understand my position. Perhaps now you can advise us on what course of action to take, other than remain silent.
It would not surprise me if Onedin had involved your son deliberately.
Well, of course I involved him deliberately. Would I not want to put money in my partner's pocket? If our steam interests prosper, we profit jointly. Well, sir, I'm waiting for your reply. What do you now propose? Maybe we can dispense with your messenger boy here now.
You must suffer too, Onedin, as others have suffered in this past week. A Lloyd signal station at Land's End has just reported the Charlotte roads on her way home. 2 men deserted, and the plague flag upon her mast.
Well, lad, we've done it. Blame me if I don't think you're looking for taller.
It's stretching to look for a following sea, sir.
Following sea's a friend if you can keep her stern down. Oh, here comes the brass.
When did you sail, Captain?
The 24th of July, sir. We were in passage for Arica.
Since that date, there have been 7 deaths in Wellington Street.
Wellington Street?
Yes. All paid off the Samantha.
Did you say 7 deaths in Wellington Street? I got a sister living there, sir.
I'm afraid there is a woman among the sick.
There's no fever, is there? Brought in from the apothecary. They thought the pains was labour, but she's like an empty pod. Fever, then? Well, sweat's feverish.
She's no yellow.
Eyes is yeller. And the shivering's feverish.
Best burn a clays, then. Fever's a blessing for some.
You've got my Charlotte roads poxed up to the gunnels, and your wife took ill. Ever since she's known you, there's been nothing but despair. The way you act, heartbreak follows you like a shadow. Who'll you bring to ruin next, I wonder?
I want the night clothes. Nothing else.
This once she'll take what you're given by me. I tell you, I've seen that girl go down to nothing. She's worn out with worry and shame. And don't say it's her fault. Everybody's actions aren't concerned entirely with money, you know. The purse is not everybody's god.
Just give me the bag.
Look at you, stone, stone. I'll tell you this, if she were to die, It would make no difference to you. You're incapable of any human feelings at all. Nothing moves you. Damn it! If you had a drink, at least it would show you were human, but you're too damn preoccupied to risk your liver for a little jollity. And what about me? Do you ask how I've got the fare to the blamed hospital?
But you're soaking.
I swam ashore.
Have they no boats?
Well, I'm in breach of quarantine. I heard there was fever.
7 dead. But mercifully, we've been spared the fever. Although the house must go.
The house?
A cesspit that the boarding house is to be destroyed. We are joining so the court is to be evacuated too.
You mean you're losing the house?
12 years we've been here. Done what I could for the children, and since you've been made master, it's a great help. The authorities will compensate the owners, but not the tenants. I've heard that Captain Onedin was part responsible. Now, is it rumour or is it truth?
I don't know.
Then they say this hot weather's exceptional and must have prolonged it. Where are you going?
It seems, gentlemen, that there has been neglect of the usual precautions on the part of the persons who boarded the Samantha, and her master is significantly absent. In the case of the customs authorities and the pilotage, they would appear to have acted in ignorance and not from willful intention of violating the law. Moreover, I am informed by the Privy Council that the trade of this port will not be inconvenienced, and there is no further cause for quarantine restrictions being placed on outgoing vessels. And finally, by some freak of circumstance, the climatic conditions which foster yellow fever have never been better imitated in Great Britain. These conditions have now passed. Gentlemen, I'm happy to inform you it's raining.
I swam ashore, went to my sister's and sought you at your brother's. No word from you at the quarantine station, no word in passage, nor about the fever. When I come ashore, it's to find my sister made homeless. Yeah, she's a widow with 2 children, lived in the house 12 years. They're putting down the coke because of the water supply. The house is next door to Mother Harbour's where the seaman died. The crew we took out to the Samantha. And the last one, young 20 Morgan, died in my arms, and you know what his fear was? Captain, he says, "You won't put me over alive, will you? Like they done on the Samantha?"
Don't you beside yourself, man.
Put him over alive, he said. A dying man speaking the truth. There was murder done on that ship, sir, and you knew of it.
I know of no murder.
And the fever, if you'd have seen our Morgan died, old black vomiting wretched. I heard his last words, a seaman through and through he was, and now dead. And my sister, no roof over her head.
Burns, I did not know there was fever aboard her. She'd been so long in passage, I thought it had blown itself out.
Aye, excuses. But the dead don't listen, they can't listen. It's a long way down in the water with ankles shackled for company. Too weak to shout, dying and drowning for the sake of a fast coin, and a fast coin in your pockets are not theirs. There's only lead in there. Who's that in there? It's not Mrs. Onedin.
Better get back on board. You're in breach of quarantine.
She's not got Yellow Jack.
I don't know.
Is it worse than childbirth? If it's worse than childbirth, I ken what it is. Gallstones.
James.
I'm sorry. For all of it. All of it.
Welcome aboard, ma'am. Your cabin's out.
Thank you, Captain Baines.
It's a long haul to Fu Chao, but we'll soon have those roses in your cheeks again. Stand by the castle!
Thank you. Hey, mời đồng Thái.
Morning. Livestock with the voyage?
Aye, ma'am. But they need to fatten up a bit before they grace our table. Still, the crew will be glad of a bit of fresh meat.
That's true.
120 days?
Might be. You have to be on the safe side.
The point of this voyage is speed. Cargo first crop China tea has to be with the merchants within 3 months. First ship in gets top price, and I mean to get top price.
Aye, sir.
Load all this extra provender and the crew will lie down and enjoy life. Men that know that it's our tack after 90 days will jump to it.
No man alive can predict the whims of ocean and weather, sir.
Well, you get that price down by 5%.
I can't do that, sir.
You can tell the chandler that we'll buy our provisions elsewhere.
Aye, sir. I'll do the best I can.
Tight girth as ever, James?
Men will not starve. Rations run short after 90 days. There's still salt pork and biscuits to keep life in them at a reasonable cost.
So we're back to thoughts of profit.
Well, on this voyage, what else is there?
There's self-respect.
Mine?
No. Captain Baines. Destroy his authority and you'll destroy the man.
Good evening, Mr. Fraser. I had no idea you were also a lover of music. Oh, scarcely a lover. I was being entertained by a business acquaintance. You seem to have caught this young thrush's fancy. You flatter me. I'm surprised you've time for this sort of diversion. Oh, work, they say, makes for dullness. You should remember that, Fogarty, next time you catch one of your dock clerks yawning in your presence. May I ask after Mrs. Fraser? She's well. All the better for restricting her social life to friends of his boat. Well, wish you a good evening, then.
Albert, how was I?
As charming as ever, my dearest.
Oh, you're so gallant, Albert. Who's the gent?
Just an acquaintance, a nobody.
He doesn't look a nobody.
He is, I assure you. You're looking very lovely tonight, my dear.
Well, I have to be here, don't I? Not that this lot would notice if I fell down in a blue fit. Oh, I hate this place.
Better than spoiling your pretty hands in the laundry.
I could do better than that. It's Oliver.
Thank you.
I'll make a start in the proper theatre.
Why not Grand Opera? Oh, Carrie, accept what you have.
You. I haven't got you. To you, I'm no more than a pleasant hour or two, when you're so inclined.
You think no more than that?
I know. Cash. That's what I lack.
Most of us do.
Oh, surely you could afford to buy me a new dress and a pair of shoes for the audition.
Not even a small fan. Anyway, how would I explain such expenditure to my shareholders?
Same way as you explain it to stuck-up missus.
Carrie, you may not speak of Mrs. Fraser in that way.
I'm sorry, Albert. You got me upset.
Let us forget it.
I'd only need... how much? Say, £10?
£10?
Nothing to a man in your position.
But beyond me at the moment. Where are you going?
I'll have to think again.
Shall I come tomorrow?
Suit yourself.
Carrie. I have but 2 sovereigns on me. Will that buy your finery?
You'd have my dress on the cheap.
Oh, with your beauty. Would anyone notice?
Oh, Albert.
Well, Captain.
I'm Mr. Onedin. Holden calls a treat.
Big boat! Put us down the boat!
Stand by to heave to!
All hands! Man the main braces! All the main braces!
Are they dead?
Near enough by the looks of it.
Still breathing?
Oh, beg your pardon, Mum, but is it convenient to do the floor now?
Oh, very well, but make haste now.
Hi, Mum. How was the old flotsam fella then?
Still asleep. He didn't touch his broth again.
Ah, well, that'll be best for him, Mum. Sleep.
Have you rescued shipwrecked men before?
Oh, bless you, Mum, yes. Lifted them gently aboard like rare living skeletons one day. 2 days later, tossed them back.
But surely we can save him.
Oh, after what he's seen, Mum. Oh, just imagine, see? You're sitting there day after day after day, with the sun like a furnace above you, burning your thirsty lips black. Aye, nothing but the sea all round. Just this flat, hateful sea. Ooh, it's little wonder they tell tales they do of shipwreck madness, you know. Biting open the very veins of the dead and drinking their very blood.
Please, Thomas, the very thought.
Oh, you don't believe me, Mum? Ah, I've had it from the lips of men who've known it.
No. I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, "Go your ways, pour out the wrath of God upon the earth."
And
the 2nd angel poured his vial upon the sea, and it became the blood of a dead man.
You hear what he said?
Be quiet.
And every living soul died in that sea.
But you took his meaning, Mum.
No, it escaped me.
But the talk of blood.
Merely a quotation from the scriptures.
Ah, but what was he trying to say, Mum?
It was just delirium, the effect of his sufferings.
Or the reason for him.
It was Revelations, verse 3. Here.
And every living soul died in that sea.
Could he have been trying to tell us something about himself?
Oh, possibly. Or it could just have been part of a bad dream. Consider, Anne, the darling man lives the whole of his life again in a moment. Shipwrecked man has endless time to be wrecked by wild dreams and fantasies. His mind can seize hold of any strange illusion and believe it true.
But he must have been trying to communicate something, perhaps some warning.
Look, any Bible text can be made to sound ominous. Our course is set fair. Oh, in 80 days.
So fare thee well, me pretty young gal. Because we're bound
Still, dear, it's stinking hot.
Swears to come before we cross the line.
Don't mind a bit of dry heat, I don't. It's that trickly monsoon rain I can't abide.
You been topside, Taff? No, I've been to the mate's cabin.
Oh? How's the old flotsam fella?
Oh, he woke up and muttered a word or two of scripture.
Bible talk? That's funeral talk, man.
Ah, well, maybe it sounded to him enough. Something about the sea turning to dead man's blood.
It's raving. And he knows about things as we don't.
What things?
Well, I mean, how long since we left the pool? 7 months or more. What could have happened? What might have happened, eh? Plague, death, horrors.
You're raving yourself.
Was that all of it, or are you holding something back?
What?
The bit of scripture, how does it go on?
Oh, I don't recall.
You do, by God, how's it go, you little weasel?
What? And every living soul died in that sea.
Means a bad voyage. You reckon? Plain as your face.
Am I at sea?
You are indeed. Aboard the clipper Osiris, bound from China to Liverpool.
Osiris.
Of the Onedin line. James Onedin is my husband.
Husband and wife. Is he aboard too?
He is. And he can be brought to you now that you're awake.
Mom?
Fetch Captain Onedin.
How long?
3 days. Though heaven knows you can have little recollection of them.
Have I spoken?
Only in delirium. A Bible text.
What text?
It's a favourite for ship sermons. The one about the 7 angels from Revelations.
You do not know my name.
Neither your name nor anything about you. You had naught but rags.
My name is Hennessy. John Hennessy.
John Hennessy, James.
A late acquaintance, Mr. Hennessy. None the worse for that, eh? Fetch a kettle of hot water from the galley and tell Captain Baines to unlock the Queen, will you?
Aye, sir.
How did I?
How did you come to be amongst us, eh? We picked you up in a longboat.
And the other? Macro?
He was dead. Had been so for 2 days or more. We gave him a decent sea burial.
And that was fitting.
May I inquire what ship you was from?
Yes. She was named the Usk, 1,200 ton out of Newport, with a cargo of smithy coal from Mauritius.
Were you her master?
No, ma'am. Her mate.
Oh, thank you, Captain Baines.
Old man, what happened to your ship?
We took the inshore passage off the Agulhas Bank.
Surrounding the Cape of Good Hope, eh?
Yeah, we must have struck during the night. She went down in minutes.
Were any other lifeboats launched?
Don't think so, sir. There were 4 people in our boat. Then after one day and the night, one died. And the others, these soon followed. And they pitched them over the side as long as we had the strength.
So there was just the 2 of you, eh?
Yes, sir. The Crow and me.
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. I must try to get up soon.
Oh, you must build up your strength. Here, we've got time enough. Here, we should be home in a couple of months, given a fair passage.
That I would brave. But there is the rule of 3.
What's that?
Luck, ma'am. It strikes in 3s. This has been my 3rd voyage, but the 2 before ended in disaster.
says herewith. Two up royals and together.
Lord Royals and together!
Wind's come right round.
I observed that. Should we not take a long reach southwards?
Well, it's either that or short tacks to be around the Cape.
Wind stay. Whichever course you take, it's a long way.
It'll cost us 3 or 4 days.
3 days I can afford. Not more.
Cookie surprise Chinese curry.
Right pudding and roll beans.
It has to be. Chandler's meat's one thing, but Chinese Chandler's meat. Yeah, it's grit and grizzle.
Ah, it is meat, though. And we'll be thinking of this scoffers a banquet in a day or two's time. But there's worse to come.
Yeah, and couldn't get no worse.
You're wrong, man. We're way off course, did you know that? We've got a gale in our teeth.
Blown us back to Foochow.
Ah, everything was fair wind till we picked up that order.
You know, I think he's a Jonah. There won't be no luck on this voyage no more, not while he's aboard.
He knows it himself, too. He was telling the missus. This'll be his 3rd voyage to go bad on him.
You won't be very elegant, I'm afraid, but at least you'll be decently covered. There's a couple of my husband's linen shirts and the best trousers and tunic we could find in the stock chest.
You're very kind to me, ma'am.
It's not much, I'm afraid. Come in. Here, I've ordered you something more substantial than broth today.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. But the meat, I will never touch.
Oh, it's good beef, bought live for slaughter in Foochow.
I forsworn all meat. I still hold. The man that eats meat becomes like the very beast himself. Beg your pardon, ma'am, but could I have the leavings? Forecastle tack isn't that prime.
Would you try the potatoes, perhaps?
Thank you, ma'am.
You may leave us.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, old school, ma'am. She'd throw good roast beef over the side, rather than let us even have a smell of it.
The old saltfoot wouldn't eat it himself.
No. Instead, he'd forsworn all meat. He who eats flesh becomes like the very beast himself. That's what he said.
Then we've turned into scrawny old cattle long years since.
You know what I reckon? Them days in the longboat have turned him.
Touched his brain.
Ah. Blood, the smell of it. It's turned him.
I never believed those stories.
What you think on? He's the one who had the strength to live. There was 3 that died, 2 of them over the side unseen.
That's good, David.
Days and days on it. No food, no water, and a dead one beside you, like a lovely fat carcass on a butcher's slab.
Your brain's gone rancid.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
What's that?
He's a Jonah, like you said, Taff. There's no flying fish following this ship.
South-southwest! Still that tack! Line! She's near pulling us sticks out and shorten the sail! In this! That's right, Mr. Ross! Now I can... Blow up! Royals and togallants! 2 men there! You! Thomas! Bogner! Up aloft in a hurry! therefore commit his body to the deep, to be turned into corruption, looking for the resurrection of the body, when the sea shall give up her dead, and the life of the world to come through our Lord Jesus Christ, who at his coming shall change our vile body, that it may be like his glorious body, according to the mighty working whereby he is able to subdue all things to himself.
Stomach knocking tonight. Not roast turkey and chestnuts. Poor old Taff.
It wasn't a bad ship, mate, poor little bleeder. Lent me 50 candarine in Food Jar Market. Won't want them back now.
It's an ill wind.
We've had nothing but ill wind ever since that old Jonah climbed over.
Well, we're carrying bad luck.
Until we slips him.
Slips him?
You mind the story of the real Jonah? How there was no end to the storm until the sailors cast him over. We ought to lighten our load.
What? Heave him over?
Change our look, see?
No, we'd never get him topside without the mates seeing.
Yes, we would. Tonight, after 4 bells. Captain asleep. You at the helm, me on watch. Lash the wheel for 5 minutes. Nip below, bring him up. Splash, none the wiser.
Just the two of us.
Keep it a secret.
None else to know.
I told ya. Are you with me?
I have to be, don't I?
Come on, then. You white-livered?
No, I'm with you.
Miserable scum!
We heard your man cry out. We were trying to help him.
Back on watch fast. Topsides! I'll deal with you later. You all right, Mr. Hennessy?
What's the disturbance?
Well, old Bogner and Hadley trying to have him topsides.
What for?
Said he'd be taken bad, but I know Bogner, spooky old brass bounder. More likely they were plotting the old heave-ho.
God's name, what?
The folks was running with rumours. Seems he's the Jonah that's bringing us bad luck.
What rubbish. No rough passages before.
Yeah, but give him a reason. There's none so superstitious as your ignorant packet rat.
Don't you give him time for idle fantasies. You work him harder.
I'll drop Hennessy off at Durban.
Put special into port.
We're best off without him.
This superstition worth 2 days. 2 days on a fast run with first crop of tea. And the price falling from the day the first shipment's landed? Never.
With respect, sir. I am the master of this ship, and I'm responsible for the crew as well as the cargo.
You're blinded by fear and superstition, man.
In your opinion, sir.
You disappoint me, Captain.
I'm sorry.
You might be captain of this ship, but I'm master of the Onedin Line, and I say we sail on.
Owner's orders?
That's right, Captain.
Elizabeth.
Daniel, this is the very last place I'd expect to encounter an old sea dog like you.
Well, I was buying a book on the advice of a friend.
What a charming idea. I'm glad somebody is opening your mind to the world of letters. Our mutual friend. How very suitable. You admire the work of Mr. Dickens?
Well, I've not had much chance to read him as yet.
But no doubt our mutual friend, Miss Emma Callan, thinks you should.
I don't really think that's any concern of yours, is it, Mrs. Fraser?
Oh, you bite.
How's William?
Growing more like his father every day, I'm told.
Scarcely recognize him now. May I call?
You know that's not possible.
Because of Albert?
Yes, though he scarcely sees enough of us himself these days. Out till all hours working.
He tells me work on the steamship is progressing well enough.
You've been to the yard?
Oh, no, I keep out of there.
But you have seen Albert?
Yes, it was in the street.
Daniel, you're not telling me the truth. Where did you see Albert? Why the mystery? Tell me, Daniel.
Well, it was another place. He was probably meeting a business acquaintance. Fox's music rooms.
A music hall? But he has so little time or money for amusement.
Well, it's a well-known meeting place for business folk.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, I won't keep you from Miss Callan any longer, Daniel.
Bye, Elizabeth. It cannot be.
I am.
Are you sure?
I've been to old Widow Crew. She's had enough of her own. Albert, you'll have to help me.
Oh, how can I?
It's your brat. I should have thought you'd have known what you've been doing all those afternoons in the sales store.
Oh, be quiet.
Because you tell me to. I don't care who knows.
But I have responsibilities, problems.
And Mrs. I expect she's been wondering why you've been so tired of late.
She must never hear of this.
So what do you suggest?
Well, haven't you got any idea what to do? Surely one of your friends here.
Mrs. Croom's got a gentleman. Studied at the College of Medicine, he did.
How much?
What?
How much would it cost me for you to make your arrangements and go away so that I'd never set eyes on you again?
Is that what you want?
More than anything.
Oh, Albert, you're cruel.
Practical. How much?
I don't know if we can get Mrs. Croom's gentleman to do
Suppose
what's
we
necessary.
can.
Well, there'd be £1 or 2 on the side for her, and then there's my rail fare back to Preston. Could you manage 25?
£25?
I couldn't do it for much less.
I'll give you 10.
Then I'll go to your wife.
You get nothing from her but boxed ears. There.
Albert, didn't it mean anything to you?
Oh, for heaven's sake. Elizabeth, not in bed?
I wasn't tired. Have you had your supper?
I ate earlier.
At the yard?
Yes. Come to bed, my dear. It's cold down here.
I went to your yard. They told me you left before 7.
I had 1 or 2 calls to make on our supplies.
At Fox's music hall?
Elizabeth, you're trying to pry into what I do with my time.
I am your wife. I have a right.
You have no right. I do as I damn well please.
With other women.
If I so choose, yes. God knows you've been cold comes to enough these past few months. Oh. That seems to settle the matter. I'll sleep in the guest room.
Do!
Not a tickle.
No.
Any sign of a wind?
Not a breath. Here, Anne. Do you remember our first voyage together? When I taught you to navigate.
Scant instruction for the rigours of that journey.
Aye. Now, if I handed command over to you again, what would you do?
I haven't a notion, except to pray for a strong wind.
Let's hope it's not long in coming. I've been hard pressed without you sometimes.
Compliments now?
Just the one.
Could you not spare one for Captain Baines?
Baines?
Show him that you trust his judgment.
What, and let him waste time calling in a Durbin?
Well, it would have set the crew's minds at rest.
The crew can think what they like, so long as when Baines says jump, they jump. Come in.
Mr. Hennessy.
How are you feeling, old man?
Oh, except for a bit of dizziness, I'm all right, sir.
Please sit down.
Thank you, ma'am.
Will you take tea?
Thank you, yes. Begging your pardon, Captain, what course have we?
Same course as a cork, or whichever way the current chooses to send us.
We were becalmed too.
What, on the longboat?
Yeah, for 6 days. After Smith and Davies had died, I was alone in the boat with McCrow. I must tell you, he was a very violent man. Very violent. But every minute, I watched him. Every second I watched him. I watched his hunger growing worse. His desperation more acute.
How terrible.
For a day we sat on that flat sea. Then a long night and a longer day. You see, I happen to know what happened to Davies. What McCrow.
Your sufferings have ended now.
I hope so, now.
In a couple of days, we'll pick up some wind again.
Captain wouldn't be taking me inshore at the Gillespie Bank, would he?
Well, how can I tell? With a fair wind, an inshore passage could save us a
But
day's
it's a
saving.
danger to the ships.
I'll need a fast passage, Mr. Hennessy. But I assure you, as owner, my concern for safety will be as great as yours.
Big catch. A pair of gravel lane bullocks, 50 ribs a side.
Yeah, it's better than dry biscuits any roads.
Aye. That's enough to break a rhinoceros, is all matters. When are we going to get some decent glum on this scow?
The only decent meat's on that deck. Them 2 porkers.
And the captain's saving those until we're round the Cape.
Providing they don't die of old age.
You might have a nasty accident.
You're wishing one of them.
No, suppose it happened. They'd have to be cooked and eaten the same day, wouldn't they, in this heat? Think of it. Lovely, juicy crackling. Soft meat. Thick gravy.
Where are you going?
Top side. Why talk about it?
You're right.
Succeeders!
I told you not to call.
I was just passing the house. I thought, why not? Do you mind?
No, not as it happens. Let's get this soap off.
Hello, William. Last time I saw you, you were no bigger than a skinned rabbit.
Oh, Daniel.
No bolts here, have we? Hey, look at that. Hey. Oh, isn't it great? Oh, there's a storm coming up. Look, storm, eh?
Oh, don't get him too excited, please. I'll never get him off
Big
to
southwester.
sleep.
Big southwester there.
That's quite enough. Oh, water
You're wet.
everywhere. Oh, out you come. You got it in your eyes? Yeah. Now, let's get you dry. There we are. Oh, let's rub you down. Rub it, tub.
May I? Come on. Oh, dear.
My boat fell on you.
Our son.
What's that thing?
I didn't marry you because I couldn't stand the thought of becoming a lonely sea captain's wife. And now?
Now I'm a shoreman. Home every night.
And I'm married to Puffing Billy's boiler man.
Made you a good husband?
I made the choice. I can't regret my bargain. Come on now, William. Let's get you into your nightshirt. There's a good boy.
Is that what you were looking for, a bargain?
Miriam.
Was there nothing else between us? Love?
You know you can't ask that, Daniel.
Oh, well, I tell you, there was love on my side.
But you're engaged to Miss Emma now.
So a mistake can never be put right.
No, Daniel. There's no way. Come on, beautiful. I think you better go now, Daniel.
Can I call again?
Better not, I think. I don't want you to get the impression that either William or I need you.
I had a premonition about my death at sea. I had hoped to prove it wrong. All day long, in that boat with McCrow. All that long night, and all the next day I was watching. Watching for the moment.
When he attacked you?
No. When he fell asleep, that was my chance. That was my moment, my chance to support.
So you attacked him?
I killed him. I smothered his head with a blanket, and I fought him as he struggled to breathe, until at last he succumbed.
Oh, God.
It was my only chance. God forgive me.
Poor man.
For 3 days, 2 nights, he lay there. I hadn't the strength to pitch him over the side. Yet I had to fight the desire not to cut his body open and drink his blood, as he had done to Smith and Davies.
Right, Mr. Bruff. Square the yards.
Man the braces!
Hey, do you hear that wind? No, Jonah must be dead then.
What if he's dead? That's manslaughter!
Quiet down there, scum. You'll get your day for talking. Call the magistrate.
Oh, my God, Bogner. What have you done?
Well, Captain?
I'm Mr. Onedin, due west.
Considered a point or two north of west.
Take us inside the Agulhas Bank?
Aye.
Where the old man's ship went down?
Well, it's the shortest way. Wind behind us, we could gain a half a day if we take the inshore passage.
Only if the wind held. He shifted 2 points and put us on a lee shore.
Are you superstitious, Captain Baines?
No, sir. But my judgment is we best avoid those particular streets.
Is it?
Aye, Mr. Onedin. It is.
Very well, then. Captain, it's your ship.
Aye, sir.